Stop watching those Gen Con lists now and make your own. My name's David, I'm from Cardboard, and I'm here to tell you that I created a list maker for you and gave you the ability to easily filter to Gen Con-only games. And on top of all of that, we are going to match you with those. So if you sign up with Cardboard, which is free, and you can import your ratings from BGG or rate a bunch of games, I actually will match and tell you exactly what your likeliness of liking that particular game is. It's not for sure, it's not 100%, but it at least gives you an idea of what is made for you coming out of Gen Con. So in this video, we're going to go over how to make a list. I'm going to make a tier list for you, talk a little bit about some of the games, but most importantly, empower you to go create your own list instead of watching what I have to say, because who cares? What I have to say is relevant to your tastes. What is important is that you find games that work for you. And that's one of my founding principles of Cardboard, is to connect people with games that they're going to love, not connect people with games that are hyped to spend their money on and to actually not really love the game. So without further ado, let's go jump into it. Let's build a list. So when you open Cardboard, you're going to see at the very bottom right over here, there's a little picture of a gorilla. That is a reference to my other channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, I've made hundreds of videos over on my channel, Neon Gorilla. It's collaborating with this video right now. So go follow this one right this second, because there's probably literally no subscribers since this is the first video, and go follow Neon Gorilla because I need that little dopamine hit. Anyways, this is Gordy, our gorilla here. And when you select Gordy, there's tons of fun stuff to do that over the coming weeks we're going to go ahead and explore together, because I built a lot of really cool things for you to play with. However, what we're going to talk about today is actually creating a list. I already have one started there. So we're going to go ahead and just hit the list button up here. And hey, you can actually make a list all the way through here. Any type, you can make a standard ranked tier list. But today we're going to go to the full page for the full effect. And we're going to create a tier list. And we're going to call this Gen Con Hype. And we're also going to rename the tiers. This is kind of a fun thing. Shout out Rolling Reggie gave me this idea to allow you to rename all of these tiers. So you don't have to just make a tier list. You could flex this to whatever you want. And we're going to go with Hype, Excited. Like I'm a little interested in this. Nah. And honorable mention of the box is cool. We will hide E and F so we don't have to deal with any of that. And with Movie Magic, I actually have this tier list already created, but I'm going to show you real quick how it actually works here. Because you have a filter tray of games, and this is the most important part for you to know for today. You want to filter these games. These games can be filtered any different way imaginable. You can make the lists that make you excited and go knock yourself out. I would love a ton of lists on Cardboard, but in this particular instance, we're going to go to conventions. Ever since I started here, we started with PAX Unplugged last year. We're going to go with Gen Con. And the tricky part about Gen Con list and what's listed on the Gen Con website is it basically, if you're a publisher, you can put whatever you want on there. So there's a ton of items on there that aren't new. So a good thing we have a year selection here. So we're going to go 28, 27, and 26. And that will give you a ton of games. Now, what you have here is you can add all of these games immediately, which is what I did once I filtered, but I did filter one more way. And this is an important way to get to games that you might like. Now, I will say one caveat here is there are tons of games that I've not been able to find rule books for. There are hundreds of games that I have been. So there's hundreds of games that have been fully analyzed, and the rule book is important because I analyze these games across multiple dimensions. Those dimensions are the DNA of the particular game, on top of the different kind of genres and categories and all of that other stuff that you're probably familiar with from BGG. We run some math on that relative to what you've liked in the past. Those games also have DNA, and we kind of basically match you up with games that you might like. So, some of these games won't have that DNA. One quick little caveat here, you can hit match and you can see how you match with all of these games right out of the gate. So you can see in the bottom left corner, even before you drag them down in here, like, for example, Haunted Mouse, I am excited for. I probably want to actually rate this one. So you can drag from this tray or just click and they come into this unranked area. that will then allow you to drag stuff around. And let's find Haunted Mouse. So Haunted Mouse is down here. I know it's a cool trick taking. I think it might be a card shedding game. Let's check. You can actually click on the little eyeball and see what this is. So hand management and melding. I love melds. Players use private bait and public bait. You might wonder, what the hell do they mean by bait? Well, good thing I wondered the same thing. There's a lot of jargon that happens in these rule books, and you wonder, what on earth are they talking about? They basically renamed something with a thematic name like bait for a mouse. But now you can say a card chosen face up in front of a player at 90 degrees that other players may use in melds or draw from, yada, yada, yada. You get the idea. We also have tabs for instructions that are related to that particular thing, requirements. There's a tons of data that we kind of get out of these rule books and try to give it to you in a way in which that would be helpful for you to make a decision on a game. Where was I? So yeah, you can actually look in as you're making this list right this second. Are these games for you? You can read about them, whatever it might be. So I just know that Haunted Mouse is probably something I'm excited about. So we're going to drop that in there. And it's just as easy as that. You are dragging and dropping items. The other thing that I meant to mention is with the filters, if you've rated a bunch of games, and I typically, the more the better, I would say at least 20 to start to get a pretty decent perspective on what you like about a game. And, your recommendations or these numbers or percentages are only as good as the number of games that you've rated, and also in the variety of games, because a lot of times when we're taking a look at a game and we're running a score for you, we're also looking at the negative things that you or the negative reviews that you've had on games, and also plays. So, all the plays on Cardboard, you can attribute enjoyment rating. Those enjoyment ratings are also taken into account on all of this stuff. But so now I can actually hit apply my ratings here. And what that does is it's going to give me games that are Gen Con, that are newer, and that are in my complexity range, my depth range, which tends to be medium to high, my interaction, which is kind of, pretty broad across the spectrum, immersion, which is thematic elements tied to mechanics and storytelling narratives, all of that stuff. I like a pretty wide range, but the luck factor range will probably hurt this. I would probably, just for fun, give myself a little bit higher range. I tend to like a pretty narrow range in luck, but we're going to get a few more games like that. And then rules overhead is relatively broad, but feel free to, even if you don't agree with this, like, hey, I just want to see rules overhead of, higher games or whatever it might be. Like, it doesn't really matter. So once you have that, you can hit this add all button, and which I've already done, and it drops them all in here. And then you just drag and drop onto your list here. A couple things that I'm pretty excited about. Drillers, CGE, I like. This is a 79% for me. I like deck building. Some people compare this, I think, to Arnak a little bit. I really was trying to get a demo at Origins, but it just never worked. So hopefully I can get that at Gen Con, something that I am really excited about. And you can also look here on the games, like, hey, who's this designer? Have I liked anything from them before? Nope, they've never done anything. So it's a first time designer. At least the first one was. Project L designer also worked on this, which is cool. Mechanics, area majority, area movement, deck bag, pool building. I call it deck building here, or it is called deck building here. Hand management, so on and so forth. And then there's some tags here that you can kind of look at and say, oh, look, there's you can also filter by just in your collection. Hey, what in my collection is this particular mechanic? There's tons of stuff you can dive into. There's plenty of videos coming for that. We're not going to waste our time on that. But anyways, Drillers, I'm excited about. Electrify, I'm very excited about because of one thing and one thing only. Well, I guess here, my match is 82%. So that's very, very good match overall. But this person right here, Mr. John D. Clare. I love John D. Clare. I just interviewed John D. Clare over on Neon Gorilla. A really great episode. I fell in love with Unstoppable, even though I don't love the theme, but I am in love with the Dungeon Crawling Carl theme coming. I'm a big fan of Dead Reckoning, big fan of Space Base, big fan of Ready, Set, Bet. Cubitos I liked. Rolling Heights was a miss for me. Haven't played Mystic Vale. Ruins was a hit for me. I like that. Haven't played Ecos. Mystic Lands I'm excited for, and Unstoppable Dungeon Crawling Carl I'm excited for. So of course, this is in my hype list. Headliners, big time shout out. Chris Couch Games, Chris Porter, big fan of you. Also another interview I did. So this is a Homer selection. But yeah, be excited about Headliners. Just ran its campaign, actually. I'm sure there is a late pledge there happening. Speaking of also Garden Club, another Chris Couch game. I am legit a big fan of Garden Club. Probably my favorite tile builder now, if I could get it in my hands at some point and not just playing a prototype. But also he promised some cool tool cards that are coming there. Another one I'm super excited about is Core of Discovery Duo. Core of Discovery, as I played it, I always wanted to play it with my wife and as a co-op. And guess what? Core of Discovery Duo is now a co-op. So, I'm excited about that. It's a really, really cool game. I don't know if that's available or going to crowdfunding. I'm guessing that's probably going to crowdfunding. Something that was on crowdfunding that I believe is delivering later this year, Song of Silveranth. I'm a big fan of Red Raven. Everything Red Raven I've basically liked. I think there's only one little card game I did not like from them. Of course, to varying degrees. Sleeping Gods got me into the storytelling narrative genre of game. Song of Silveranth, it looks to be double downing on that. Double downing? Is that doubling down? That's what we're actually talking about. Vampire Survivors, I don't know if this is available there. I remember it being on Kickstarter not too long ago. If it is, I'd be pretty excited about that. What I am excited to get, which I'm sure has to be there, is Everdell Emerald. I am basically trying to figure out should I get rid of collection and just buy the new version of Everdell that's inevitably going to be, in our hands every year. I had the recent experience with Silverfrost where I liked it, and there was no need to dig through my giant collection box to figure out what expansions I wanted. Some people, you love it, you love all those expansions, it's fine. I just like the simplicity of opening one box is what I'm figuring out. I love the jungle theme. Everdell Emerald is something I hope I come home with. Crits and Tricks got me just because I was actually, this is, works out for the platform because I had never heard about it. I do like Inside Up games. And I like trick taking. So trick taking and drafting and hidden dice drafts, quests, which I found out by clicking this button. They're private objectives. So it makes sense. And mercenaries play tricks by assigning dice to cards and score loot by completing quests and public challenges. Just sounds fun. Sounds great. The box cover is awesome, so that's why I'm excited about it. This was one that I found in going through this exercise. Whisperwood is another one that's getting a lot of hype. Cardboard Alchemy is kind of on fire for me in general. I think the only thing that I have not liked from them, which is oddly the one in which I'll admit Cardboard has given me as something that I should like, which was Andromeda's Edge. I still have the deluxe edition. It just didn't hit for me. It just overstayed its welcome. I'm so sorry. Oddly, I like their lighter fare, even though I like a more complex game. But Flamecraft, Critter Kitchen, shout out Peter C. Hayward. Flamecraft Duels, I've really, really enjoyed. That's actually challenging Garden Club for the tile layer. It's a little different, but still sort of nasty. You can be nasty against your opponent, which I like. And then Mission Catastrophe, big fan, underrated game. Absolutely love my experience every time I play that game. So that is, oh gosh, how did I stop? My one of my top rated games of all time, definitely, probably in my top 10, definitely my top 20 is Forest Shuffle. Anytime I get new cards from Forest Shuffle with new, hopefully broken combinations, shout out to deers and wolves and all that stuff that people like to claim to complain about. I like it. I like that stuff. But we'll see what happens with Smoky Mountains. I think I basically talked about all the stuff that I'm super hyped on. Some others that I am intrigued by. Well, I played Good Kitties already on the channel. Really like that. This has been out already. Bunny Kingdom Town. We like Bunny Kingdom. My wife likes a little bit more. I have Queen of Spies from Salt and Pepper Games and Glasgow Train Robbery. So that's why I'm just excited and not hyped because I already have them ready to play them. I got those as review copies. Stock Market has trading from All Play Small Box. I love trading. I actually hope to get this while I'm there so I can play. Diablos is one of my favorite designers of all time, and Danny Garcia. I also interviewed you, Danny. You're awesome. Wingspan Pocket. Does it really sit in your pocket? I don't know. Button Kingdoms. I met the founder of, here, let's give it a proper shout out of Around the Stump Games. Super passionate guy at Origins. So I'm excited for his game. I love passion. I love indie publishers. Some things that I'm about. Trail of the Temple, cool box. It probably belongs in the cool box area. However, it is, was this Reiner Knizia, I believe? Yeah, Reiner Knizia. So, you know, you gotta at least go on anything that he puts out. Sanibel is already out. First Giants has already come out. Wild Magic, another Knizia game from Gamehead. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening with Gamehead right now. So I am still about that one. Compile, I don't know if I need another compile, but I recently found that. That's great. I am interested here. I don't know if this is available or going to go on crowdfunding. I doubt that they miss a chance to actually crowdfund this game. Dinosaur Island fully charged. Looks like it's kind of like an all-in box. I just kind of love the idea of Dinosaur Island, probably more than the game, but I do like Dinosaur Island, the roll and write. Let's see, other honorable mentions. The only one in the NAS. Well, Game Makers is probably a controversial one. I think a lot of people are hyped up about this, including Bezier Games. I know this is the big release. I just don't think the theme's for me. And you know, it might be one of those ones where I sit down and like, oh, it just clicks and it's great. But it's just kind of like, I'm not seeking it out, we'll say. I'd be happy to play Game Makers. But it's just not, you know, not something I'm super excited about. But I am also not excited about Earth. I'm never excited about Earth. It just gives you too much. There's too much dopamine to make it feel special. Maybe, I don't know if Express does anything for that. And then there's some fun boxes I found down here. Night Zoo was one I saw early preview at Origins for. Out of the box, it was a little less impressive and the presentation didn't grab me. I didn't get to play it. I know very little about it other than that. But yeah, you know, that's that. There's still plenty of games over here that fit in my in my taste that I just didn't have time to look through because I'm about to leave right this second or very soon. I have to go pack for Gen Con. So I didn't have a chance to research all of this. But the good news is this video isn't about that. This video is about enabling you and empowering you to go find the games that you like, not the games that I tell you to like or that anyone else tells you to like. Like, go and do it yourself. Most importantly, I just want to see them. I want to see what you're excited about because I think there's some cool stuff there. You can also, by the way, add notes about why you're excited because that's also helpful as I'm looking through your list or anyone on the platforms looking through your list. And that's my list. One other quick preview, since this is the very first video on this channel and likely you're seeing me for the very first time. Right now, right this second, I am knee deep in the iOS app. This particular app has... I put everything into it, and I think it's pretty cool. We have a lot of really cool features that are going on in here. A lot of stuff that I've learned from the web app, which you can access right now, obviously, is sitting in here. There's a lot of really fun ideas, including, which I can't demonstrate here, which is a quick scan of games. Where the heck is it? Which, there we go. I finally found the button. You can't do it because this isn't a real phone. It's just on my computer. But anyways, that's not particularly helpful, but you can scan games and actually learn about them in seconds in the database and also add them to your collection and all this kind of fun stuff. With that said, thank you so much for being here. If you've made it through all of this, I truly, truly appreciate it. If you're already over on Cardboard, thank you for your support. I'm trying to create single-handedly by myself, at least for now, until it can be monetized in some way and I can actually hire people. I'm trying to create the best community that has ever existed in all of board gaming. So there's so much more under the covers here that I hope to, that's not even out, that I hope to bring to you to help bring people together in a community and just have a ton of insane features related to finding games and finding friends in the hobby that fit your tastes and really trying to democratize the ability to find games that work for you and match your tastes instead of relying on the YouTube algorithm. And in fact, I struggle not going into all of this at the end of this video, but you also get matched with videos. If you're a small creator, go sign up to Cardboard, rate games, and your videos are going to actually get matched with people that have similar taste to you and also will get matched to the games in those videos if they have a taste for that particular game or they are likely to like that particular game. There's so much going on here. There's more to come in this video series that we're just starting today. I will stop rambling. Thank you so much for being here. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you over at Cardboard.